Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, I've been avoiding the Hunter Biden trial for the most part because, well, Hunter Biden's, other than being the president's son, he's not really that much of a public figure. Well, although the Republicans are forcing him into being a public figure. That being said, he just completed a trial, and the jury now has has all the evidence and are weighing the evidence to decide if he will be found guilty or not guilty of a gun charge. For the background, Hunter Biden was using drugs at the time. There's a form you fill out saying that you're not an addict. And the prosecution would say, well, he was using drugs. He checked this form. He lied on the form. Therefore, that's a felony, and therefore he should be held accountable for that. The defense is saying that addicts at the time of their addiction don't consider themselves to be addicts. They only recognize their addiction when they're in recovery. And he wasn't in recovery at that time. Some ex-girlfriends and an ex-wife testified talking about his drug use. Crack, I guess, was the thing that he was known to be using. The defense called witnesses. His daughters say he was actually getting better around the time that he purchased the gun, implying that he wasn't using crack as much or was weaning himself off of it. And it was also noted that nobody in like the 11 days or so that he owned that gun, it was a revolver, ever saw him taking drugs. And I think that's going to kind of be the little key part there, because the key is reasonable doubt. And so the prosecution's saying, hey, this guy's been using drugs. He's a drug addict. He uses drugs all the time. One girlfriend said he smoked crack every 20 minutes he was with her. Maybe not a girlfriend, a woman he was with said he smoked crack every 20 minutes he was with her. So the implication is this guy's got a crack pipe around him 24/7. The defense says nobody saw it. There's no documentation of it. Nobody's testified to that. And that's where the reasonable doubt comes in. The prosecution says, "Oh, don't check your common sense at the door." Understandable, but unlike the Trump trial, where there really wasn't an alternative explanation for what he did with his business records, because that would make sense. With Hunter Biden, the reasonable doubt comes from the understanding that addicts don't know they're addicts when they're addicts. I've not been an addict. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the expert that they brought in testified to that, and the jury are supposed to listen to experts. And it's also a piece of evidence that nobody saw him taking drugs while he was doing it. So it could be that he was not taking drugs when he owned that gun. It was an ex-girlfriend or his sister-in-law that found the gun in his truck and threw it away. And then somebody who was searching for recyclables found it in a garbage can in a grocery store parking lot somewhere. So I want to. That's kind of the background with it. If he is convicted, he's a first-time offender. He may get prison time. Probably won't. But let's look into that here. Okay. Again, I wouldn't normally read on this, but he's the president's son. It is a criminal charge. And, practice my tarot skills and see how can I read on a jury trial when the jury hasn't resolved the issue yet. Okay? So entertainment purpose only. What's the energy around the Hunter Biden trial now that the jury's got it? Six of Swords. Going from tumultuous waters to calmer shores. That could be going up the river, as in he's being convicted, or he could be acquitted. And, his life, whatever's going to happen, regardless of what the jury decides, Hunter Biden's life is a lot more tranquil now than it was before. That's kind of the key. That's kind of a key part here. He's done the work. He's moved past his addictions. At least I believe he has, and I'm hoping he stays on that path. But that was maybe not the case several years ago. Crossed with the Nine of Swords. Yeah. So this is Hunter Biden before. This is why he's in trial. And these are the consequences of the addiction and the drug use. That he's here now, but he's dealing with the consequences of his previous actions, and he has been very upfront and candid that he did what he did. He has never lied about it. He's not trying to diminish what he did. It's just the anxiety of, oh my God, am I going to go to prison even though I've cleaned myself up? Part of the thing why they give folks probation on this is to give them the ability to clean themselves up, and he's already done that part. That's why this case is really kind of odd. Underneath it all is the King of Pentacles. Let's leave Republican money, Fox News. Part of this is, Fox News and stuff like that, putting a lot of pressure on the prosecutor to prosecute this case because there was a plea deal that had been signed that the judge rejected. And part of it, if I heard correctly, from, who was I listening to? Is it Hawk on TikTok? I think it was Hawk on TikTok was explaining this. So a segue here. Hawk, by the way, is a lawyer with like 20-something years trial experience. The way he was describing, and he was the one that was, when I'm telling you the part about addicts don't know they're addicts when they're addicts, that's from Hawk discussing that. So that's not me being really creative and clever. I am repeating something I heard from a reliable source who was a lawyer. He's not fanciful. He's not wrong. I haven't looked it up to verify it myself or read any psychological papers, but I'll take his word on it because he is a lawyer, and this would be something that would be kind of in his wheelhouse of things he would know about. A lot of pressure from right-wing media to bring these charges forward, and he was also the one that was saying typically you wouldn't give him prison time, you'd give him probation so they get cleaned up, and he's cleaned up at this point. This King of Pentacles, could also be Hunter Biden taking care of his health and having already addressed the worst of the issues. Hawk would also say, what else? There was something I was going to have on there and I lost myself giving you too much background information. Hang on, let's pause for a second. Yeah. Okay, so I think the thing I wanted to stress was Hawk's whole thing was an addict doesn't realize they're an addict at the time of their addiction. So when he checks that box saying, I'm not an addict, that would be true from the perspective of an addict. So he didn't necessarily lie on the form. Now, to you, me, and all the women that were testifying for the prosecution, and probably even for the jury, yeah, he sure looks like he's addicted to drugs. But the thing is, in the addict's mind, they're not. They can stop at any time. Stop me if you've heard this one before. They can stop at any time. The drugs don't control them. They control the drugs. It's only when you hit rock bottom that this happens. And he had the gun for 11 days. He was basically saying there's so much reasonable doubt because of the way an addict's mind works, that they can't prove this case. So we'll see what happens. Just because that's his opinion doesn't mean he's right. It's just his opinion. It's an informed opinion, but it's an opinion nonetheless. So this King of Pentacles could be people throwing money at the prosecutor. This could also be Hunter Biden taking the mature road and working on his health and fixing his issues that he's dealt with. In the past, we got the Five of Wands, the Hillbilly Brawl card. This is his tumultuous life. And you think about it from his addiction problems and everything that he had to being the boogeyman that the Trump campaign is making him out to be. His life has been an absolute tumultuous drunken brawl for 5 years or more. Here we are in 2024 and they were vilifying him well into 2019. It's been a draining 5 years for this man. Current situation is the Empress. His family showed up to court. Jill Biden was there for every day except one, which was the D-Day ceremonies. She was at court every day. The Empress card. This is making sure everybody has enough. He's done the work. That's what I'm getting from this. He's done the work. He's actually in a really good space right now. So I'll be curious. Even if he's found guilty, I suspect the judge is going to look at things. There's no, well, we'll see if there's prison associated with it. This is not a charge that is normally prosecuted. So for all the weaponization of the Biden Justice Department, it's being weaponized against the president's own son. No nepotism here. Overarching energy is the judgment. Judgment will be cast on him for it. But I think there's going to be a lot of things taken into account. That he's cleaned himself up, he has stayed clean and sober, and he owns things. He doesn't deny everything he's done. He made a mistake. Judgment is the overarching energy here. The lesson to be learned is the Page of Pentacles. Underneath he's the King of Pentacles, but he was immature and not taking care of his health or his values for a long time, which is what got him here. But underneath, he's addressed it. He's not the person he is now is not the person he was then. And I think that's a very, very important distinction to be made. Outcome is the Two of Wands. Preparing your next steps. This isn't telling me if he's being convicted or not, because this could be appeals. This could be getting ready to go to prison. This could be probation. This could be getting on with your life. Moving on with your life. You're the next steps of your life. The world's in front of you. I'm tempted to believe that last one, honestly. And forgive me for being a biased libtard on that one. It's the arguments made for for things that could be considered reasonable doubt, I think are reasonable doubt. It wouldn't surprise me if this ends up being a hung jury, or no verdict, I should say, will surprise me. I really do think it's going to be the reasonable doubt part, and if anybody in the jury has had family who have dealt with addiction issues, they're going to understand that more than anybody else. Or if anybody in the jury had addiction issues, they're going to understand that more than anybody else. Okay. How will the jury rule on the Hunter Biden gun case? How will the jury rule? Taking into account all the evidence, how will this jury rule? It can always be a mistrial. It could be a second jury, right? How is this jury going to rule? The Sun card. Oh, that's good. Trust that the jury's going to do the right thing. If he's guilty, he's guilty. How funny, right? I pretty much said the same thing with the Trump New York criminal trial. Sun card, front and center. I'm reading that as the positive, that they see the truth of the matter. They've seen the evidence, and they're going to rule honestly and truthfully. Do not be upset if he's found guilty. Do not be upset if he is found not guilty. Crossed with the Four of Wands. This is usually my card for prison. So this might be that they find him guilty in here. Underneath is the Queen of Wands. Having to make a decision of action. Now, again, this could be prison. This could be see you later, don't let the door hit you on the butt out, or welcome back type of thing. So I do use it as a prison card, but this could be a celebration, because this is also the wedding card. This could be a celebration. Queen of Wands. It's kind of forward-looking. It's looking at people's actions and the actions they've taken. I will be really curious to see how this pans out. To complement the Queen of Wands, we're going to look at the Seven of Coins here. The evaluation. This is the jury evaluating the evidence and looking at the evidence and deciding what needs to be considered, which witnesses were credible, and what you're going to do with that. They're going to make their decision quickly. Okay? I don't, in the Trump trial, I knew quickly meant that he was guilty. In this one, I'm not sure. I would tend to think it would be a guilty plea, but again, it's the reasonable doubt comes in, whether they believe the reasonable doubt or not. And if they do, then it's going to quickly be non-guilty. The overarching energy is the Six of Swords. Here we go again. Going from tumultuous waters to calmer shores, but it could be going up the river, sending him away for a while. And again, they could. One of the things they might be looking at is, where was he before and where is he now? There's a lot of things to consider with that. The same card. And the same lesson to be learned, the Page of Pentacles. The person he was then is not the person he is now. How interesting. Outcome. You ready? Three of Wands. Waiting for your ship to come in. Ready for opening day. Ready to move on with things. We had the Two of Wands before, the Three of Wands leading to the Four of Wands. I can't... Is that sentencing? Is that... Okay, let's throw a clarifier on that one. Seven of Wands. Fighting from... but fighting for a position of advantage. Page of Swords. Stupid people, young people making stupid mistakes. King of Wands. Maturity decisions. They might... I would not be surprised if they acquit him on these charges. And I think really what it's going to come down to... Now, I don't... See, to me, the jury's not supposed to... I don't know if that's something the jury's supposed to consider. That's something the judge is supposed to consider when sentencing. But I don't think the jury is supposed to consider that. But maybe they do. I don't know. How would that... Let's have a four-parter. Does the jury find him guilty or not guilty on these charges? The Three of Wands could be a hung jury. Like, is the prosecution going to take up this case again? There, I've got all the answers covered. Thank you for watching this video. Hey, by the way, sister, I've got you captive here. I have two other channels. Twin Tarot with Gary and David, a tarot channel I do with my identical twin brother, and Tarot of the Seven Seas, my international channel. If I got you on edge here, check out those channels too. We'll keep you on edge on all your seats. Thank you. End of endorsement. Where's my purple pin pat? Okay, let me focus here. Focus, David. Here's a mantra for my life. How will the jury rule? Will they rule guilty or not guilty? Page of Pentacles. They're looking at him. They're really looking at his past, or whatever this Page of Pentacles is. The Death card. He's in a new chapter of his life. To me, it's like the Three of Pentacles. He was in a dark period, and he's dealt with it. He's again, addiction and working with people to move out of that addiction. He's found his path. He's found his path forward. Four of Swords. I'm having a hard time with this. If the jury, I'm going to say this, if the jury is allowed to consider the man he is now versus the man he was then, they're going to vote not guilty. Because they're going to look at it like There's no reason to find him guilty of this. There's no punishment that the judge should be doing that would change the situation. He's already done what society would want him to do. I am really leaning towards a non-guilty verdict on this. If it's a guilty verdict, well, if it's a guilty verdict, I'll read on it afterwards to see what the judge's sentencing is looking like. But it's not decided. My guess is, again, if I was gonna bet Glenn Kirshner's dollar, I'm gonna vote on the not guilty verdict on this one. And it's not a partisan thing. It's not a soft on crime thing. It's literally a reasonable doubt, and he's reasonable doubt coupled with he's not the same person now as he was then. There's no reason to make this man endure anymore. So that's kind of where it's like an empathetic response. That Queen of Wands of looking forward. It's like, look how much progress this guy's made. Is justice served by finding him guilty and him getting probation or going to prison? Is that really serving justice? That's why I think it's going to be a not guilty verdict, but watch me be wrong. It's going to happen quickly, though. They did have the 8 of Wands, so this could be something that's decided by June 11th. Oh, maybe I should ask that. How many days will the jury take? I really do think it's going to be in the next day or two. If it's longer, if it takes them more than a week, it's a hung jury. This really should be a quick case. It's either going to be, they should have this thing decided by tomorrow, I would guess. And if they don't have it decided by the end of the week, it's going to be a hung jury. How long will the jury take to make their decisions? Card wants to stay on top. If it's the Page of Pentacles, I'm going to just walk out. Here we go, Page of Pentacles, everyone. Here's the judgment. Here we go, guys. Judgment's made. 4 of Swords. This would be like a probation type thing or something like that. But this also showed up in that last reading. It's retreat, meditation, burden. And he's not the person he was before. Injustice underneath. It's not. How long is it going to take? We got a 20, a 10, a 4, an 11. What's the date today? Today is the 10th. The 10th is when they got the case. It's 11th. It's going to be tomorrow. Tomorrow, the 11th. And then I'm using the 11th on the justice card here. The 11th is when they make their decision. And maybe if he's found guilty, I'll bet you he's sentenced on the 20th. Okay? And if he was sentenced, I would guess, 4 months, maybe a suspended sentence, or probation and a suspended sentence, that type of thing, because he's not the person he was. But I think they're going to have this decision by tomorrow. That's going to be my guess. And I will just waffle on everything else. And if they don't have the decision by... Well, no, they said it was going to happen quickly. That judgment card would be the 20th. If they don't have a decision by the 20th, it's a hung jury. We'll leave it. I don't know what it is. We'll find out. We'll all be surprised when the verdict comes out, okay? I'll either be being the champion, yay, I guessed it right, or I'll be like, yeah, can't win them all. Anyways, but what you can do is show some gratitude. So thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your likes, shares, comments, everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm so this video makes it out to a wider audience. To folks discovering this channel recently or for the first time, welcome to the channel. Hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.